Welcome back to the Startup Show. I'm John Biggs. Today on the show, we have Eddi Weinwurm from ObviousFuture. Welcome, Eddie.
Hi.
Yeah, so ObviousFuture sounds pretty cool. Why don't you tell us what you guys are working on?
Oh, a lot. We are working on AI. I don't like this word AI, artificial intelligence. I prefer to call it machine learning. What we do, we have another approach on AI than the current trend, because the current trend is to go bigger and bigger. To add millions and billions of parameters to networks. We go the other direction. We are convinced that with clever engineering, you can go smaller and have a more performant AI, and even have an AI which can run on premise. That's what we call resident AI,
Hmm.
which has huge advantages in really a lot of points compared to this cloud AI we are now used to. Yeah, and this is especially interesting for different industries which don't want to send the data across the internet to third parties. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
So the so the company itself, I'm looking at the site. It's basically uh, what you guys are hosting. Your guys are hosting AI on premises, right? So that's a big change from a lot of these things.
Yeah, we are not just hosting; we are developing it. So we're really doing the hard, the difficult stuff, going deep into mathematics to develop new models, develop what we call compounds, um, where we can host the AI, as you said, really on premise, isolated from the internet, no third party access, which is really, yeah, as I said, really important for certain industries.
And you're doing a lot of editing, like video editing, predictive video editing,
Yeah,
stuff
so
that's not common right now.
we have CaraOne is one of our products. This is a video AI, which is you can call it an assistant at video editing. And in the media industry, it's also quite important to have solutions which are cloud independent. We have customers like Hollywood studios. They have an air-gapped production environment. So this is really like a high security prison with cameras watching the editors editing this yeah, new releases, movies, and this is really a high security environment, and they can't afford to stream something to the internet or being even connected, because the assets they have, there are billions of value. A new unreleased movie, if it gets leaked, it's billions of value. Yeah. So that's for example one of the industries we serve, where we really they have no other option than to use on-prem AI solutions.
The these organizations, I mean, obviously they're using more and more computing power. So I mean, originally it was what, motion capture, maybe like CGI, that kind of stuff. That used a lot of computing power. But these new systems, what do you need to, I don't know, do sort of AI editing on premises?
So what we provide are packages, hardware, software packages. They can plug it into the server rooms. There's two use servers we call AI node, and you can scale them. But you have the cloud solutions are quite convenient, because usually they implement some API and that's it. And we are doing the same, but just on-prem. Really an easy to install, plug and play solution, and then you can have the abilities um, uh, you would have in the cloud, really on-prem.
Is there a future? Because I remember distinctly back in the early 2000s when people were flying around the world with like a sun server just to install a website for a company. Is there a future in which companies like yours are selling hardware and software to allow for a AI to be in like my office, for example.
Yeah.
I don't want to use AWS. I don't want to use Gemini. I don't want to use any of that stuff. I want all that stuff next to me.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's the logical next step in AI development, or in the evolution of technology. So when you look at the evolution of technology, you always have this first phase where it's flying. So yeah, we build something, it's flying, and then comes the thought, okay, is it efficient? If it is it safe? Yeah. So the first planes, of course, were not efficient nor safe, and that's where we are currently with AI. We are thinking about the next step. Yeah? So AI will be a really integral part of our lives, of our businesses, which means I'm sharing with AI my deepest thoughts. Maybe I have an always on AI in the future with me, but also in the business, AI makes the most sense to work with the core business data. Do we really want to share this core business data with third parties? Yeah. So we think that's the logical next step, actually, yeah? To be not dependent to stream something to third parties, but to really have it on-prem or in-house. Yeah. So that's where we see the future of AI heading, actually.
So does that mean everybody? Am I going to have my own, like, I don't know, the equivalent of a NAS, network attached AI, in my house, for a small business, or is that going to be too expensive?
Yeah, yeah. I think that will be the future, and it's this huge cloud models as they exist now. There is such a huge waste of resources. They're a waste of time and resources that take long. Um, Boiling this down and having really, I have a box in my office, and that's my AI. And if I lose my internet connection, I still can work with it, because I think AI will be such a core enhancer of our abilities. Yeah, you can see AI in two ways. Yeah, oh, it will take my jobs, will take my job, or in the other way, oh, it can enhance my abilities in that way that I'm better in my job. Yeah, um, I prefer the second view, but which also means that this AI will then, when it's really something which is enhancing my abilities, yeah, such a core part that I don't want to depend on an internet connection to have it. Yeah? And the same for the office. Yeah. So we really think this will be the trend in the future, and maybe even reduce it down. We have currently two trends. Yeah, the hardware is Moore's law. It's getting smaller and smaller. So the AI hardware gets more and more abilities, and we are working from the other side to cross it. We make the AI smaller and smaller. So in a few years, we will have this really crossover point when we have a phone or whatever, which or a device carrying with us, which is then our own AI, which is enhancing our intellectual abilities, which is giving us constant kind of inputs. Like, I don't know, look on the other side of the street, there's
Hmm.
someone walking, yeah. Uh, this really symbiotic relationship. This is now science fiction, yeah. But we have these two trends, yeah. The hardware is getting more and more performant and smaller, and we try to make models smaller and smaller that they really can run on small and small devices.
It's an interesting point. I mean, eventually we are going to have AI, uh, on body AI, I guess you could say. What needs to happen in chips? What needs to happen in hardware for that to start to really take off?
Oh, that's already happening. Yeah, yeah. This Moore's law. That we always get smaller and smaller, and always every I think 4 years getting more performant. Um, it's happening again, and it's happening now in the GPU level. So when you really see what the hardware NVIDIA is bringing out, and the next generation which will come out, they're really huge steps in performance. Um, this gives us the ability currently already, yeah, to have a non scientific data center hardware, which we can put into the customer's facilities. Yeah, that's what we're currently doing, but we can just do it because we are really using it cleverly. When you want to run GPT-4 on some hardware, you can never run it on a non like really astronomically expensive hardware. But actually, it's such a waste because every time I ask ChatGPT something about my business, yeah, is this a spam mail, for example, yeah, it has to pass through all this model where it's all the knowledge
Hmm.
about, I don't know, all Bible verses, all the quantum physics formulas, and so on. And this goes through this really cooking recipes, yeah, just to tell an end, oh, this is a spam.
Okay. Yeah,
So
interesting.
by what we do, we apply expert modes. So, for example, that we say, oh, this is now about this topic. So we have an expert, a little small expert, which takes the job and answer it. And this expert has no idea about cookie recipes or quantum physics. It's really an expert on this topic. Yeah. So it's also from an really resource and also cost factor. We can offer our solutions much cheaper because we don't waste this huge amount of resources. And even when you look at the CO2 fingerprint, a ChatGPT request makes, I think it's around 4 grams currently. At least that's what I heard. That's a lot.
Hmm.
And when our models are just taking a little part of this, yeah, or yeah, so that's also a question of efficiency, and in the end, a question of cost. Yeah,
I mean, it feels like there are two ways that this could go. I mean, your description is sort of like a expert model, which is basically just for spam or just for driving a drone or something like that. Might be is one way to go, but it also feels like historically that very specific type of technology never really won because you just wanted a general purpose computer. You didn't want a flight computer for the Apollo 11 or whatever. You wanted a general purpose computer that could do everything.
yeah.
I wonder, yeah, I wonder what the mindset change will have to be if there needs to be a mindset change.
Um, no, it doesn't need to be so generalized or so specific. Yeah, but it's a clever implementation of architecture. To distribute in different topics and you don't have to have these very narrow experts. Our experts are not super narrow, but of course they don't know about quantum physics if they have to judge about some like video script, yeah, if they want to predict what's coming next in the video, they
Hmm.
don't have to know the cookie recipes, yeah. So it's not about super specialized AI, but about clever engineering, and that's I think the most important step now, also in the evolution of AI, because we went from this, yeah, it's flying, nice, great, wow, and now comes the time of engineering, and engineering means to find solutions which are really carefully tuned, which are carefully put together, which are efficient or really safe, and I think that's the new age now which is coming up. Yeah, because yeah, we know AI can do amazing stuff, and we
Hmm.
are kind of people back then when the Wright brothers took off with the plane. Yeah, wow, humans are flying, nice. But now we have to go to make a business of it. We have to look make airlines to fly passengers and to calculate the cost per passengers and so on. Yeah, and make the airplane safe. That's
Hmm.
engineering.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so what's the future for obvious future?
The future is We started now in the media and entertainment business. We have quite success here. We have so from the practicability, our AI has really a huge impact. That's the feedback we are getting. We're getting in all the bigger companies which don't want to share their data, um, audiovisual data with third parties, or which are not even allowed to do. That's the current situation, and now we're thinking, okay, there are so many other verticals which have the same need, yeah, and it's healthcare, for example. It's heavily regulated. So it's especially in Europe, we have heavily regulated data silos, which is make it really impossible to use apps like ChatGPT. Even they would be helpful. So that's one of the next verticals we want to approach. Every industry which is really focused on privacy. You know, if you have a surveillance camera watching your top secret lab, yeah,
Hmm.
you don't want to stream the footage to some third party because then you don't need a top secret lab. Yeah, so there are a lot of applications where we see where we fit, and as we go against the grain. Uh, as everybody else goes bigger and bigger, bigger, feature. We see quite unique position for us, and also expertise we currently have in developing these really performant, small on-prem, what we call resident AI solutions.
Now, do you see yourselves as consultants or do you see yourselves as product producers?
We are producing products. We do really base research. We work closely with universities. Um, we develop a lot of intellectual property in AI technology down to the mathematical level, where it's really that that's for me the most interesting also in this business to have all these scientists coming up with inventions and solutions of how to better implement this, and on the other side having the engineers which do then this hard engineering work together with this connection to customers. Yeah, so it's always nice to have a technology, but in the end, I need a product.
Hmm.
And we are we demonstrated now in the audiovisual market, which is a really difficult market, yeah, that we are really able to develop in short time really good products, really usable products, which are far away from the academic stuff, but they implement it. Yeah, so you don't have the feeling. Also, when you look at CaraOne, like the user interface and so on, that's very organic. You don't have the feeling, oh, this is now cutting edge mathematics behind it, which allows this to run on-prem, but really making a nice product, usable product of it.
Will there ever be a fully AI generated movie?
Yes, probably,
Hmm.
but it will take some time. And I think all these discussions currently happening in Hollywood. Yeah, I think the stuff the audiovisual media you can produce while you're asleep. Yeah, more or less. I wake you up and you continue editing. Yeah, that will be AI produced, but the high quality stuff will be still. Yeah, handmade. And I want to watch a movie of Tarantino in the cinema, and I don't want to watch a movie generated by Node 3560. Yeah?
Hmm.
So it's most bread comes from factories, but there are also these small little bakeries I go to have this fresh bread. Yeah. And the
Hmm.
same will also happen, I think, in the audiovisual industry. And a lot of content will be AI generated, but the good content, the quality content will still have the signature of a certain director.
Interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think maybe AI editing might work. I think it's already happening. I mean, I use that for this podcast all the time to create like social media and stuff. But AI generated is going to take a minute, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
That
right, so
will take some time, but it's rapidly. If you have some insight into the pipelines, there are really huge developments upcoming. Yeah,
all right, Eddie, what's the website folks should go to?
ObviousFuture.com.
All right, ObviousFuture.com. Eddie, this has been fascinating. Well, I'll send folks over, and we can and then we'll watch the first AI movie together that your
Great. Yeah.
that your on-prem is going to generate. This has been the Startup Show. I'm John Biggs. We will see you next episode.